What's cracking, y'all? Welcome back to the station. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all know it is your boy, Ray G. You can find me on X at RayGQue. Been gone for a minute. Been out about a week. My wife and I celebrate our 7-year anniversary this Sunday, so we spent the week out of the country. But I'm back in the saddle, back in action, ready to go. Been missing dropping content. So if you're new here, it's your first time on the channel, welcome. Appreciate you being here. This is what we do. One more time. This right here, this rookie stuff is what we do here at Destination Devy. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like the content, subscribe to the channel. Rookie season is just getting started. The fantasy season is over or wrapping up right now. All them failed contenders, you're looking ahead. Who are the next superstars? GQ, tell me what you think about these fits and these players. And one of the biggest pieces of news that dropped while I was out was Dane Brugler, the man, the myth, the legend, dropped his mock draft 1.0. We're going to take a look at that today, review it, talk about some of the landing spots and the fits for these players, and even some of the landing spots and fits for the non-fantasy scoring players that should help the guys that we love score fantasy points in 2024. So stay tapped in. I'll link the mock in the description below. I do believe that it is free now, so I will show this and share the screen. But normally, if this is behind the paywall and covered up, we don't do that, man. I support content creators and his work. Make sure you go subscribe to The Athletic. But let's dive in to this mock 1.0 and talk about the 101. No surprise. Caleb Williams going to the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams, absolute stud out of USC. This is a phenomenal talent. I think for a lot of people, you get what is called prospect fatigue. You've heard about Caleb Williams for so long. Caleb Williams. And when there's any sense of dissension in the ability, dissension in the wins, you start to get tired. I don't know if he's QB1. And yeah, I don't know if he's a great teammate. And all the stop the drama, save the BS. Caleb Williams is a damn stud. Stop the drama, save the BS. Caleb Williams is a damn stud. And the Chicago Bears, in the position that they're in, they're going to have the number one pick. The Carolina Panthers have given them the number one pick, and we're not going to talk about how awful of a deal that was for Carolina. But when you look at Chicago, my question is Matt Eberflus there? If they're moving on from Justin Fields and they're going to reset their franchise with 2 top 5 picks, potentially 2 top 3 picks, I don't believe Eberflus is there, and I don't believe Justin Fields will be there. I am not condemning Fields and thinking that he's a bum and will never play in the NFL again, but I would be hard-pressed to see Chicago bring in a new head coach and roll with Fields again for his 3rd head coach in just a very few short years of his NFL career. This is one where I do believe Chicago needs a reset, new head coach, maybe that guy inside that same division, Ben Johnson, potentially coming over from Detroit to Chicago. I know Bears fans would like that. But Caleb Williams at the 101, if this happens for fantasy, we've already been baking it in. We've been thinking about this for a long time. I know there are going to be some people that talk about the other quarterbacks, Jayden Daniels, Bo Nix, Drake Maye. But for me, it's Caleb Williams, and it's Caleb Williams, and it's Caleb Williams. I would love it. Superflex, he's absolutely the top-rated quarterback. But there's a question. Do you take Caleb Williams over Marvin Harrison Jr., who Dane has going number 2 to Arizona? Arizona's one of those spots where I said, could they potentially be in the market for a quarterback? Are they auditioning Kyler Murray? Do they really want to move forward with Kyler Murray? And I think the answer to that question is yes. But Marvin Harrison Jr., having the opportunity to get this young man on your roster, my goodness, sign me up. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., you've got a nice young stud tight end in Trey McBride. You've got a complimentary piece in Hollywood Brown. We'll see if they pay him the money he wants. But this would be a great win for the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray's fantasy football stock as well. And there is a case to be made for Marv to go 101. Jay Rich dropped his mock draft 1.0 the other day, and he took Marv 101. He's probably the more ironclad fantasy asset. It doesn't matter where he goes. People are going to love him. People are going to treat him like a top 5, top 3 dynasty wide receiver. Maybe you can do more with the Marvin Harrison Jr. than a Caleb Williams. I think if you're sitting there at the 101, the 102 or the 103 spot, you're happy, right? If the person ahead of you takes Marv 1, you're just happy having Caleb Williams. If Caleb goes 1 and you've got to take Marv at 102, you're fine. You are smiling and laughing to the bank. I love the fit in Arizona. I think this is a good fit for Marvin Harrison Jr. Would love to see him with Kyler Murray. Jonathan Gannon in that offense have looked a lot better than we thought. It's a good fit for Marvin Harrison Jr. I like that spot in Arizona. Now we get to number 3, Drake Maye, fantastic quarterback out of North Carolina. going to the New England Patriots. And this is one where right now, today, y'all, like right now, today on Friday, December 1st, 2023, I don't like it. I don't trust Bill Belichick. I don't trust Robert Kraft. I don't like the playmakers that they have surrounding Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Will Grier, whoever the hell the quarterback is. They don't have one. I do not like it at all. Love Drake Maye. Wouldn't fade Drake Maye, but damn, I would be like, please, anybody other than New England, if Bill Belichick is going to be the GM, the head coach. You got Bill O'Brien, Matt Patricia. I just don't like it. New England, in our adult lifetime, I'm 37 years old. They have not had to develop a quarterback. They've had Tom Brady, and Tom Brady has masked and carried things for 20 years for the New England Patriots. And yes, there was a season where Matt Castle was serviceable, and then as soon as he got out of there, he turned right back into Matt Castle. Yes, there was a stretch where Jimmy Garoppolo looked like he could be the next big thing, but ultimately Jimmy Garoppolo is just Jimmy Garoppolo. Tom Brady leaves New England, very first year, wins a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. I don't like the situation. I don't like the infrastructure. I don't like the weapons. And you hear people talk about, former players talk about that Patriot way being antiquated, outdated. I don't like it at all, y'all. So if New England is picking this high, which they should with only 2 wins, and if they're going to take a quarterback, which they probably will because Mac Jones looks to be finished in New England, I don't like this for Drake Maye. Hopefully there's a new offensive coordinator, a new head coach, a new regime in New England to kind of usher in this new Patriot way. But the old Patriot way ain't going to work with Drake Maye. So if this happens with Bill Belichick, I don't like it, y'all. I don't like it much at all. But let's get back to the mock. Chicago, right? Joe Alt, fantastic tackle out of Notre Dame. You're pairing Joe Alt up with Caleb Williams. You're pairing him up with Roschon Johnson, Khalil Herbert, DJ Moore, who's an absolute stud. Love this fit. Joe Alt to Chicago. Get your franchise quarterback, get your franchise left tackle, and Lord knows the Bears need help up front. It's a great fit for Chicago. Love it for Caleb Williams. Love it for the weapons in Chicago. Commanders take Olu Fashanu, big athletic offensive tackle out of Penn State. My man Damian Parson from the Draft Network has been talking about this young man for a year and a half now. Commanders looking like they're probably going to endure another change at the head coaching position as well. Maybe they clean house. Eric Bieniemy gone. We know the DC has already been fired. Looks like Ron Rivera is literally on his last lifeline. This would tell me that at least Sam Howell probably gets one more season. One more season as that bridge quarterback to see what he can do with better protection. They can't block anybody. He's getting banged around left and right. Fashanu would be a plug-and-play left tackle, and this would be good for the running game and Brian Robinson as well as Sam Howell. So let's move down to number 6 and talk about my guy. This is my guy, my dude. I've been telling y'all for over a year, 2 years now, that Malik Nabers is that dude. Leads the country in damn near every receiving statistical category. He is on pace to set LSU records, Jamar Chase's records. He is incredible. Should win the Biletnikoff Award as the best college football player at the wide receiver position in the country this season. I don't know if it'll go to him or Marvin Harrison Jr., but this dude is an absolute stud. And the Giants, they've already come out to say Daniel Jones is going to be their quarterback next year, but that doesn't mean that they won't look at adding a body, whether that be in the draft or whatever that may be. But Jalen Hyatt looks good. Jalen Hyatt is coming on. Wan'Dale Robinson looks fine, but he's not a number 1, and I don't believe Jalen Hyatt is a number 1. Malik Nabers could walk into New York right now and be their best wide receiver that they have. Love, love, love the fit. Don't love the situation in New York right now with Daniel Jones, with Brian Daboll trying to figure stuff out, but this is going to be an impact player. Jordan Reed, my boy works at ESPN, says DJ Moore vibes all over the place with Malik Nabers, and I cannot get that out of my head. This is my wide receiver 1B in this class to Marvin Harrison Jr. being the 1A. Malik Nabers, I think there's a big cutoff between him and the rest of the receivers 3, 4, 5. Malik Nabers is an absolute stud. Love this player. Love the capital. Give me some Malik Nabers in New York. A lot of opportunity to go around. Defense isn't very good. So there we go. Malik Nabers of the Giants. Hopefully they figure out a quarterback situation in New York. And at number 7, man, these two picks right here coming up at 7 and 8. Tampa Bay selecting Jayden Daniels, the all-world quarterback out of LSU, and the New York Jets selecting Brock Bowers to go with that Aaron Rodgers. Wow, wow, wow. Two fantastic players, two awesome picks, two great fits. Love. I cannot, I don't know if I can say love enough. Let me get a picture of old Jayden Daniels up. I don't know if I can say love enough. Love Jayden Daniels in Tampa Bay. No, I do not love the damn head coach Todd Bowles, but Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cade Otton, Rashad White. I like the fact that he's stepping into pieces. He's stepping into pieces, and we saw Baker Mayfield perform pretty well for stretches this season, right? He hasn't been awful. He's Baker Mayfield, but he hasn't been terrible from start to finish. So you get somebody like Jayden Daniels to come in, compete for the job. Maybe it's something where we saw the same thing happen with Pittsburgh and Kenny Pickett. Maybe it's somewhere where Jayden Daniels is the backup for the first 3 weeks and then Baker Mayfield fizzles out. He's going to be a top pick. I've been telling y'all about Jayden Daniels. His skill set is phenomenal. In the NFC South, you got to deal with Derek Carr twice a year. I'll take that. Desmond Ridder and whoever the hell the Falcons draft twice a year. I'll take that. And then Bryce Young. Give me Jayden Daniels in Tampa Bay. Love, love, love this fit. And then Brock Bowers to the Jets. And we're just going to assume that Aaron Rodgers is back playing. You give him this dynamic freaking tight end, let's go. Brock Bowers is going to enter the NFL in the dynasty space as a top 3 dynasty tight end. People will value him higher than Kelsey. We'll see what happens with Mark Andrews. He's going to be right up there with Laporta, Kincaid, TJ Hawkinson. He's going to be a top 5 value tight end from the day he steps on the field. And I like this spot in New York. They need another pass catcher next to Garrett Wilson. They need somebody else to take pressure off of Wilson because it damn sure ain't Alan Lazard. That's not it. Conklin is fine. Nice mentor. Give me some Brock Bowers in New York with Aaron Rodgers, at least for that year. You got the big tackle out of Alabama going to help Justin Herbert out. He needs all the help that he can get. We'll skip the defensive players, and then we'll go to Keon Coleman. New Orleans Saints selecting him number 12 overall. And make no mistake about it, Keon Coleman is a freak. He is a freak. I expect him to test like a freak. He's big, 6'4", 220 pounds. He can do everything. He's an explosive play guy. Not as fluid as Marv and Malik or even a Odunze, in my opinion. I do believe that Keon Coleman will be a first-round pick come April of 2024. Not my wide receiver 3, so disagree with Dane here, but he is a freak, and he can play on special teams. So you can put him right out there as your team's primary punt returner. He's explosive, he's big, he's physical, he's fast, and he's had a fantastic season after transferring from Michigan State. So Keon Coleman to the Saints. I like the pairing, right? We know that Mike Thomas is probably not going to be a mainstay in that New Orleans passing attack. Then you've got Rashid Shaheed. You got a bunch of other bodies. I need somebody else to pair with Chris Olave to work in tandem with that young second-year star. Keon Coleman would be a great fit in New Orleans. Love that fit. Nice pick, Dane. We'll scroll down a little bit, and there goes my boy, Rome Odunze, my wide receiver 3 in this class, going number 15 to the Cincinnati Bengals. My God, I got an air horn that one. Cincinnati essentially replacing T. Higgins with Rome Odunze. And this is, if there were ever a T. Higgins replacement, here you go. And I'm not going to say he's better or anything like that, but it would be a nice replacement. I think he would work very well in tandem with Jamar Chase. But unfortunately, Jamar already has the numero uno on that team, so Odunze would have to find another number. But going 15 overall, pairing him with Joe Burrow, giving Burrow another young, talented, non-injury riddled wide receiver to deal with, in conjunction with, I'm going to assume, Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase. Love it. Also kind of want to see Cincinnati get a tight end, but get Joe Burrow weapons, replace T. Higgins, who may be a part of a sign and trade in the offseason. Rome Odunze, my wide receiver 3, fluid, contested catch, good after the catch, just a smooth, dominant receiver. Excited to watch him this Saturday. Now we scroll down a little bit more. You see Buffalo. Don't know much about this tackle out of Georgia, but getting Josh Allen up front help. Good stuff right there. We've got defense, Jared Verse. We've got a cornerback. We've got an edge rusher. We've got a D tackle. The Colts go offensive line. Love this. Don't know who the hell Tyler Guyton is right now, but 6'6", Dane saying 320, moves like a tight end. A-Rich, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman. Offensive line help for Indianapolis. Love this for Anthony Richardson and his prospectus moving forward. Now we get some players that fantasy relevant. Seattle taking J.J. McCarthy as QB4 right here, 22 overall quarterback out of Michigan. All the tools. J.J. is going to be a polarizing prospect because the production, we haven't seen that. But you see the tools. You see the throws. Versus Ohio State, there were a couple of throws that he made. You're just like, wow, that is high-level NFL throws. He is athletic. I know we haven't seen him run around a ton. I think JJ is going to shock folks when he goes to the combine, jumps, runs, test. He just looks like a prototypical quarterback. Leader, all saying the right things, all about the right things, win, win, win. Screw my stats. I'm here to win. I do think when it's all said and done, if JJ declares, which I do think he will be a first-round pick. Not a top 10, not 15. I think he's in that 20 to back end of the first. This would be a great spot. He would not come in and start over Geno Smith. Hell, who knows if he would start the first season, but I like the infrastructure. I like the pieces around. You've got a tight end in Noah Fant. You got two good running backs in Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. You've got two good receivers who should be there for the long term in DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba. This would be a nice spot. And what would happen is J.D. McCarthy would fall in rookie drafts that would allow those back end first to accrue even more value to get a player like J.J. McCarthy. I like the fit in Seattle. I don't love this fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Brian Thomas Jr., who I love. BTJ. Brian Thomas Jr., let's go. This is what we thought we were going to get out of Terrace Marshall. It just happened a few years later with Brian Thomas. He is dominating alongside Malik Nabers at LSU. Surprise, surprise, LSU quarterback, two dominant receivers. Doesn't this just sort of sound like 2019 with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson? Not saying those guys are chasing Jefferson or Burrow, but man, eerily similar to sort of what those two did back in 2019. But damn, Kenny Pickett, y'all. I just can't get on board. Pittsburgh's got a damn good team, and what Mike Tomlin is doing with that team to have them competitive, to win games, to have them in the playoff hunt, like in the playoffs with Kenny Pickett is nothing short of phenomenal. Now, Pickett did have a better game last week. We'll see. Deontay Johnson walking around looking crazy. That doesn't look good. George Pickens, probably not the alpha that we wanted. I just hope that there's enough to go around to help Brian Thomas eat. I don't really love the fit, love the player. Quick riser, big riser. Brian Thomas Jr. is a dude out there from LSU. So let's scroll down and see what else we have. Cooper DeJean, we got a cornerback out of Iowa, and he is white, and he is good. And I just had to bring that up because you don't see a lot of white corners in the NFL today. Jason Sehorn is about the last one I can remember. Cooper can ball, man. Cooper can freaking ball. Let's keep scrolling down. The Dolphins getting some offensive line help for Tua and company. The Cowboys, my Dallas Cowboys, going guard center. Dane kind of mentioned Tyler Biadasz. We know that Tyron Smith, even though he's playing Pro Bowl ball this year, maybe not long for the wear as well. You kick over Tyler Smith, the left tackle. You replace them with Graham Barton out of Duke. Don't know much about him, but we'll learn through the draft process. Lions going edge rusher, and the Jacksonville Jaguars love Emeka Egbuka going to Jacksonville right here, giving them more help. Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Trevor Lawrence, Evan Ingram. Here we go. This is going to be a Z. He's not going to play outside X. I don't think he's got the athleticism to do that consistently on the outside, but you put him as that Z receiver with Ridley, play him in the slot. Emeka's got a big body. He's a physical receiver, kind of banged up this year, so he's falling down the board a little bit. But when I go through and I start looking at the tape, this is still a top 5, top 6 wide receiver in the class. I know we're excited about some of the other guys, but Emeka Egbuka is a solid, quality wide receiver. Maybe not superstar, but quality wide receiver. We got the Chiefs going O-tackle out of Houston to help out Mahomes. A wide receiver would be nice. Maybe it's the Higgins. We got the 49ers going O-tackle, help out Brock Purdy. They need tackle help. And then we wrap this up with the Baltimore Ravens going cornerback and the Philadelphia Eagles going offensive tackle to give Jalen Hurts more help. So when we look at this first mock, some of the names that we did not see, and let's talk about those because people are more interested in who we did not hear. No Bo Nix in round 1. Interesting. No Bo Nix in round 1. That's a player we've been mocking inside of round 1 for mocks for a long time. Bo Nix is going to be a first rounder. We'll see. I believe he's accepted his invitation to the Senior Bowl. I believe, maybe not yet, but if he does, it's going to be a big, big, big part of the process for Bo Nix come draft time. We also did not see everybody's favorite quarterback, Michael Penix. Michael Penix, a little older prospect, a lot of injuries, slinging the ball like crazy this season, but also not inside this first round. No Michael Penix. Some receivers that we did not see. No Xavier Worthy out of Texas. No Xavier Legette out of South Carolina. I'm very excited that I'm going to get a chance to see him live and in person, Mobile, for the Senior Bowl. No Legette, no running backs. No Travion Henderson, no Blake Corum, no none of that. No running backs inside of round one. Receivers, 4 quarterbacks, and a tight end. No Jatavian Sanders as well, tight end out of Texas. So this is 1.0. Thought this was a solid mock. There are a ton of offensive linemen, and those are the type of moves that happen in the NFL draft that you kind of turn your nose up at the point in the moment, right? Oh my God, how did Dallas select Tyler Smith over this receiver? And then you look up and it's like, damn, that's why they took him, because that is helping out Dak Prescott play like an MVP. That's helping the offensive line. It's helping put more stuff in place. So those are why it's important to kind of look at those things as well. So shout out to Brugler. This was awesome. We will continue to review different mocks just to get different opinions. Where do the scouts, where does the NFL value these players? Where do they think they're going? And how do we adjust for fantasy football? So if you tapped in, you appreciated it, you stayed to the end, hit that thumbs up button, like the content, subscribe to the channel. I got Trinity stuff coming. Stay tapped into the Twitter at RayGQue. Prop betting, fantasy football. That's it. That's all it is. It feels good to be back behind the camera, on the mic, talking to y'all. Make sure y'all wake y'all asses up Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and Jay Rich recapping everything that happened in fantasy football land. Y'all have a good one, man. I'm out. Peace.